Thank you for tuning in to Tackling Tomfoolery. I am Malika Rogers.
And I'm A.M. Lewis.
And that is actually the end of our introduction. This season, it will be the two of us primarily. I know we are missing Franzi, who is living her adult life, trying to live her adult life in the best way possible. So that involves her not being here every week, but you will hear from her at some point in the season. So
I find it untoward, but I guess adulting and whatnot. I don't know who allowed it.
Well, she's we gotta live our lives.
We do. It's true.
So we are glad to be back. This is season 3 of the Tackling Tomfoolery podcast. And making it to season 3 is a lightweight big deal. I remember when seasons was, a season was a year, like in television, radio, or whatever. And now you look at a show and it'll tell you it's been on for 16 seasons, but really it's just been on 4 years. It's just that there's 4
it's
TV seasons. And we're lightweight like this. This is our 3rd season. And it sounds better than saying this is our 3rd grouping of shows.
I know. What else would we call it?
Right.
This is our 3rd semester. That's what I mean. I don't know. This is our 3rd quarter, like a financial quarter. I don't know. It's our 3rd season.
This is our 3rd set of 10. That just sounds dumb. It's a season full. It's a season.
We have now produced a trio of groupings of shows for your listening pleasures.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to call it. It's the season.
Me neither.
Damn it. That's how it works now.
That's what we said. We said it. We meant it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to accept it.
And we're not taking it back. So we thought initially we were going to be out for probably about 5 weeks. And I think it's been more like 10 weeks.
It's been a minute because it's been since October, and I think it was the beginning of October.
Yeah.
And now we're almost at the end of the year. So
yeah. So
we took a minute. It was a minute.
It was a good time. And so we've worked on a lot of stuff, and I'm going to talk about that in a separate sort of thing so you all know what's up and coming. But in the meantime, we are going to do a little catching up and talk a little about all kinds of shit that happened while we were away. And a lot of life occurred in the weeks that we were on hiatus. And I sort of kept track so that I'd have a long list of things to talk about, so I wouldn't miss anything. So I started off with talking about Eminem's freestyle. I just want to say I think he's a fine lyricist. For the most part, he's rarely talking about anything I want to hear, but as far as just being witty and good at wordplay, he's those things. And that freestyle was boring and whack as fuck to me and highly overrated. And we are weeks later, and I'm just now having a chance to tell people on a large scale that I thought the shit was sick. AM, I don't know if you had words.
Well, this isn't my shit, right?
Nor mine.
I watched it once. I understand that Eminem is very, very deft facility for wordplay, his flow, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, he said some shit. It's Eminem. I expect him to be in your face, controversial. Sure. I don't know that he ethered Trump, but it's not some stuff that I would pay much attention to anyway. So I saw it. Okay, I guess. Saw some think pieces. Some people are like, it was fire, Dylon. And some people are like, he ain't said nothing that black folks ain't being said. This is Eminem, blah, 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 blah. And I could not summon enough cares for either side, so I just left it. It was a thing that happened.
Yeah, I watched it and yawned. Okay, so next, I want to talk about, and I do not have the name right in front of me, but I'm going to have it in front of me in 1 second because I like to use names when it's necessary. I want to talk about in Connecticut that old raggedy ass bitch poisoning her roommate. Because because she didn't want to live in the room with her. So she went about trying to, I don't know what she was trying to do. In my mind, she was trying to kill her, not just make her sick. But so the victim is whose name I'm looking for.
Chanel Rowe.
Yeah. And then this old raggedy but Brianna, is it Broku?
I don't know. I spent no time.
Some crazy bitch.
Little hateful girl.
So anyway, she started doing real nasty things, putting old clam dip and shit in the sister's shampoo and just doing real foul, rubbing her dirty tampons, used tampons on her stuff.
Toothbrush,
yeah, to make her sick, and it did make her sick. And anyway, eventually it all came out in the wash. And so then I think 2 days ago, because they were trying to put add a hate crime factor to all the charges. And so in Connecticut, they decided not to do that. And they decided that, yes, she's hateful and ridiculous, and these were criminal acts, but she's not racist. Even though she referred to her as a Jamaican Barbie. And I don't know what else she might have said about her, about the victim. But anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure she's racist. But hopefully there'll be some street justice for her monkey ass. That's what my hope is. I mean, if you can't get them in court, get her on the street.
I don't know what the charges are now that there's not a hate crime and what the maximum sentence is. I have zero hope that she'll serve any real time.
Right.
I also feel somewhat confident that she will end up catching hands somewhere, because who does that? And, as I have said before, and as you know, I've worked in student housing at a university, and it is very clear, the result is very clear to me that there are communication issues with this current generation as a result of not really having to have conversations face to face.
Right.
There were always conflicts that students would come into the office for that would be easily resolved with a conversation. But they did not know how to have the conversation, didn't know how to start it, didn't know what to say. So I thought about this in this regard. I'm hard pressed to think that school doesn't have a period of time where you can't switch rooms.
Right.
So instead, and I am guessing she didn't want to leave that room. She wanted the girl.
She wanted her to go. Right. Exactly.
Well, instead of being grown and handling your business and not wanting exactly what you want, and not being willing to compromise, you got to go and damn near try to kill somebody. It is the most entitled, wretched, ratchet, ridiculous shit I've ever heard. And I hope I hope it follows her around. I hope this follows her around like, I don't know, a cloud of pig pen dirt just surrounds her wherever she goes, until such time, and I don't know what this would require, that she kind of gets how horrible that was and somehow makes some kind of amends some way. And I don't even mean directly to this girl. I don't care if she goes off and does community service for a year, dedicates her life to doing good, something
Something has to happen.
I don't know. Something.
I mean, the charges, I believe, listed are criminal mischief and breach of peace.
Those sound like misdemeanors.
Those do sound like misdemeanors, like things that mean absolutely nothing. You literally were making this girl sick. That's all right. I hope she sues the shit out of these people civilly, and that this child or her parents never have shit. Anyway, then there were the Vegas and Colorado shootings. In Vegas, that man lost his entire mind, and he killed, 58 people? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a mass shooting. he was attacking people who were at a country concert or whatever, and he's shooting from up in his hotel room, and he terrorized basically a whole bunch of people, even the people who never took a bullet. They're seeing bodies fall. They are seeing all manner of blood and terror, horror, and
literally running for their lives.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep. Those people will never be right again. And because he was a white guy, it wasn't terrorism. And that's kind of what I want to say. Same with the Colorado shootings, not nearly as large of a scale, but you just open fire at the Walmart and kill 3 people. But it wasn't terrorism. You know, white men, let me get it right, white men kill a bunch of people. And then there are conversations about gun control and mental health and how important it is to help, to counsel people and, you know, help provide options for people with mental illness. And then if somebody brown shoots and kills a whole bunch of people, then it's terrorism. And you could be brown and be born and raised right here in the States. You're a terrorist. But if you're a white man, you just were misunderstood, angry. You needed help, you know. So fuck that bullshit. I hate it. Next, I don't give a fuck about Tyrese. I just wanted to say that he popped up in the hood news multiple times while we were away. He's always doing something random and stupid, and he was going back and forth with The Rock and arguing with him because he's doing a movie on his own with his Fast and Furious character, and Tyrese felt salty because he'd probably have to eat ramen noodles while he's waiting till 2019 for them to film the next Fast and Furious, and he might have to sell one of his expensive ass cars or maybe live in a regular ass house or some shit while Dwayne is collecting all the monies, and he resents that. So he went back and forth with The Rock. He went back and forth with his ex-wife over the custody of their daughter. And then he made a video where he was crying and blubbering and snotting and shit, talking about, don't take my baby from me. I pay you X amount of dollars in child support. What more do you want from me? Which is my favorite.
I'm broke.
The ways they have remade that into a song have blessed my heart tremendously. But in general, fuck Tyrese. He's ashy and stupid and dusty. And I wouldn't care if he never made another movie. I ain't gonna watch it. And to be clear,
I mean, I've been off Tyrese for years now because he is just on some ashy, anti-woman, anti-black woman particularly, and he always has opinions on how we should act and what we should do. And I have been off that train. So when he was on the video crying and talking about how he's going to be broke and why nobody wouldn't come help him, Will and Jada Smith, I mean, calling out, really wealthy black entertainers, like a verbal GoFundMe or something. I don't know. And then I guess he hired a plane to fly over his daughter's school and
he did.
skywrite her name. And the baby was like, what in the whole entire hell, Daddy?
She did not like it.
Yeah, she was freaked out. And he's on the video with the little T-shirt with the baby's name, Jada or whatever. Jada Forever. I don't know, some kind of weak-ass, corny-ass shit. Yes, I did. Now, listen, I hate for this child to be experiencing whatever fallout she's experiencing as a result of this custody battle. Reportedly, he has abused her. Reportedly.
Right.
Physically abused her.
Which was the cause of the separation.
Right. I would not wish that baby anything other than a happy baby life. But because he's shitty, and he decided to make his shittiness public, I laughed.
Yeah.
I did.
I did
yes,
too.
I did.
I did
I
too.
laughed. I was like, yo, buster ass, sucker ass, raggedy ass, go sit down somewhere. Then after that,
he
Malika,
did sit down somewhere and cry.
He cried some more.
My baby, don't take my baby
but didn't
from
he come out
me.
and say he wasn't really broke? I don't know. I was tripping in stress. I'm not broke. And I feel like he came out and said that later.
I know he said that he took some medication, and the medication caused him to have such an emotional response to what was happening. Anyway, and later on, they did.
Was it hormones? Because it seemed like he was high on some high levels of estrogen.
I don't know what was going on, but I know that it made my afternoon, and I did laugh hysterically. And a lot of Black women I know fell for the okie doke, and it's so sad. And his ex-wife should be ashamed of herself, and blah blah blah, and all the shit that Black women do because they hate themselves. And so
she should keep him away from his baby. That's a shame. Yeah. He's a good man. I've always liked him. Oh my God. You don't know him.
Not at all. You do not know him. And nobody wanted to talk about that time when he was beating his ex-wife's ass when she was pregnant with that baby that he was crying about. But anyway, fuck that dude. And those tears were really, really funny to me. And we will definitely have a link so you all can get a good chuckle of him crying and acting already a whole fool. Right. If you haven't. And if you haven't watched it, shame on you. I mean, because you are hella late. Anyway.
Listen out.
I mean, it is classic. So many remakes and it's funny. So since I did mention him going back and forth with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, we just want to shout out Dwayne right quick because he been out here looking like a bag of brand new, freshly printed money, and every snack that tastes delicious. That's how he's been looking. He's been looking like that for years, but these days with the little, he got a little salt in his beard right now. And Jesus. Lord have mercy, Father God, today I stretch my hand to thee and I stretch my vad to Dwayne Johnson because looking like so many snacks.
Listen, man, I saw the picture with the salt and pepper goatee. You know that's my shit. You know the salt and pepper is my shit. You know it makes me weak. And last season, when we had a little chit chat about how Jeff Goldblum was look out there, looking delicious and delightful with hair gel just so in his muscles. Listen, as much as I would smash Jeff Goldblum, you just extend that. I don't know. I'm going to put a little 5. Can you? Like to the 5th power? That's the thing.
I mean,
The Rock. I will climb all over him like a fucking human jungle gym. Smash, 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 smash.
All right. Hell yeah, you're right.
Smash, 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 smash. Some more.
Damn
all
right.
the smashing.
Objectification all over the place on purpose.
Hey. It's good for the doggone goose. It's good for the gander.
I'm unapologetically objectifying that man.
Beautiful.
He sure is pretty.
I watched whatchamacallit, which isn't particularly good. This last season wasn't amazing. And I still watched it just to look at him. What's the show called? Player? Football?
Ballers. Ballers. Thanks, Bren.
Yeah, we like it when you pop in with the knowledges.
Because I don't watch that shit, but
watch that just to look at him in his suits.
The boyfriend watches it, and sometimes when he's watching it, I will peek over his shoulder because I'm looking at Dwayne, and I don't give a damn what's happening on the show.
I look at him and little
Denzel's son. I was just about to say that next. What's his name? David. Little David. Anyway,
John David, John David. I think it is. I remember. The sad part is, I remember when that kid was literally a kid.
Well, I do not, and I don't want to remember. I don't want to remember
to be
that.
grown in the way that he's grown.
I sure do appreciate how handsome he is.
Even though his daddy is ashy as hell.
Oh, Denzel. So damn raggedy sometimes. I don't know what gets into him. He achieves a new level of dustiness. Unlike I've seen from other people. And I never expected from him, I guess, it's so easy to equate him to a lot of the characters he plays and just assume that he has a certain kind of life ideology or whatever. And then when he actually says things that seem completely far-fetched and ridiculous, I'm always shocked, like, wait a minute, what's wrong with you? But then I'm like, oh, you're not your characters. You're actually you. And this is your personality. And now I'm disappointed in you. So
I had the same response, like, wait a minute. Oh.
Yeah, now now honestly, I don't think I'm going to be able to see him as anything but this little dusty character he's playing right now. Somebody Israel was the name.
I don't know.
That little,
you know what I call him,
funny looking lawyer he's playing in this most recent movie who looks out of shape and has hair that's unkempt. And
I mean, like Questlove's daddy, because in the picture,
he does
preview I saw,
and so
he looked like he had some hips too, and I was not for it.
Well, and so as a result, I'm only going to see him as that from now on. I don't care what he plays now. So, okay, everybody. Well, I was going to say it was kung fu fighting, but that is not what I wanted to talk about.
I was going to say have fun tonight, Wing Chun tonight. That's where I was going with it.
So now we have all of this foofara going on, all this kerfuffle about all these different men being accused of sexual misconduct, harassment, assault, rape, etc. And so far, most of the ones we're hearing about have been in the entertainment field, and starting with Weinstein and moving on to lots of other people, including Russell Simmons, who I always thought was gross anyway. Because why are your girlfriends always 12? But so I just want to briefly say, because I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about what's happening. I mean, it's just, it was due, it's past due. So people are, having their shit laid bare, and that's that. But I've been very annoyed by regular men, non-famous men I know, and men friends of mine know, who are taking on an attitude of, well, what can you do? Everything you do and say is being, portrayed as sexual harassment. And I just feel like I'm being attacked as a man. I just want to say those dudes disgust me, because if in all of the accounts from victims, all of whom are not women, just mostly women, if from all of that, they never take, how can I change my own behavior? How can I change my own mindset? How can I make sure that this is never me acting in this way, hurting someone in this way, damaging someone in this way? If in hearing all of this, that is never an idea that crosses your mind, and all you can think of is, well, how can I make sure this getting in trouble doesn't happen to me? Then you are trapped. And I've seen a lot of men where not ever are they, I'm sorry this happened to these men and these women. I'm sorry that some men behave this way. I'm sorry that this is looked at as the acceptable norm, particularly in like the entertainment field, where women and some men, frankly, are expected to just, pull down their drawers and put out so they can get a job or be liked or, whatever. They don't say any of those things. It's just, they just out here crucifying all these men, and nobody is saying, I'm sorry for these victims. I'm sorry this happened to them. I'm sorry they're hurting this way. So I'm real disgusted and disappointed with a lot of the responses I've seen, and especially disappointed from those kinds of responses from men I know, because then it just makes me want to unknow them. These are not the kind of people I want to talk to if this is how they're thinking. And it shouldn't have to take for it to be your mom or your sister or a good friend of yours to be the victim of such a thing for it to matter to you, or for you to at least be able to see how it's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not about just there being a lack of, I don't know, procedure or justice or whatever, or that there be investigations. I'm not against any of that. But when a person says this thing happened to me, the first thing people should be inclined to do is at least provide some sympathy, empathy. Some, I'm sorry that was your experience. And don't say, if you are a person who's like, oh, I'm not sure that really happened, then don't say shit until you find out for sure. But don't come with this defending, the person who's being accused. Because if you're saying, well, we don't know one way or the other, then that means you don't know that the person's not guilty. So just shut your mouth then.
I keep seeing people like with this stuff, and particularly in the case with Roy Moore. I need evidence. There's no evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And my question has been, so I need proof.
Right.
How is proof provided in these situations where we're talking about something that happened in some cases decades ago?
Mm-hmm.
It's too late the statute of limitations is over. And even if it wasn't, what evidence would there be?
Right.
How is it that you can concretely prove one way or the other? So unless the person who's been accused can come and say, no, in fact, I know this didn't happen and here's why. Yeah, we're kind of left with the he said, she said.
Sure.
And I don't know that anyone's gotten any kind of come up out of this yet.
Not that I
haven't
know
heard
of
anybody getting any financial settlements. I don't believe that it's, I mean, knowing the culture that we're in, it's not like it's all kiki. I toppled this motherfucker.
Right.
Matt Lauer is not on the Today Show anymore. These women have not all of them, especially with Weinstein. But by and large, a lot of these women have kept their anonymity for a reason.
Right.
Because there's not going to be any peace for them in certain quarters after this. So
exactly.
I believing it, it's kind of like we've talked about before, like seeing some things as they are is not fun.
Mm-hmm.
You lose shit.
Yep.
House of Cards, which is one of my favorite shows. I think they're filming the last season without Kevin Spacey. There's people whose work I have enjoyed that I can't anymore now. Please believe that's a small loss by comparison of actually having suffered at the hands of these people. But it's not fun when you're like, okay, I believe these women. It's not like that's a come up.
Right.
For me, it still comes at a loss.
Yes, it does.
So, the whole thing is so deep. There's so many layers and levels to it, and it just seems unending. Mm-hmm. Who was the last? Wasn't Matt?
Tavis Smiley. Bye, Tavis. Bye.
And I do believe that he believes what he's saying.
Yeah.
I don't believe it because I've been heard shit about Tavis Smiley.
Who hasn't? As have I. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. Ashes, they all fall down. Just don't let it be Tom Hanks. That's all I need.
Oh, yeah, that would be too much.
Come on. That would
just be wrong.
I wouldn't even be surprised if some shit came out about Denzel, frankly. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be sad. No. I mean, I would be sad, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Based on the dumb shit he keeps saying, I probably wouldn't be sad today. But had it happened, I don't know, 6 months ago, I'd be like, oh, Lord, not you.
Yeah.
But, and I think I do want to say a huge issue I'm having, aside from all the men I hear being defensive instead of empathetic and understanding, is I'm sorry. The whole shit just makes me really mad when I think about it. I think about my own experiences, and I'm not a famous person, and so what has
Yeah.
happened for me is a very different story. But a lot of these men who have been accused, some of whom who have admitted, yeah, I did that shit. Some of that shit was me.
Mhm.
Their responses to it are so disingenuous and often lackluster and beating around the bush. And that really, really bothers me. I don't want anybody to give me, when I say you made my life hell when I worked with you, and you made me feel like if I didn't sleep with you, I wouldn't have a job, wouldn't be able to eat, wouldn't be able to take care of my kid, wouldn't be able to pay my rent, or whatever the hell you did to me. If you tell me, I'm sorry you felt that way. It was never my intention for you to feel that way. If you give me that kind of response, then I'm going to feel like you have to die. Like there's, and that's what I see a lot of, even after the being caught out and the after being put on blast. A lot of these men still are like, they won't just say, yes, I did that shit. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. I thought I was okay. I thought I was right. I live in a world that sort of centered me as a man and told me that it was my right to conquer women and whatever that. I haven't heard one man be that dude to say that. Why can't they just fucking say that? Say, yep, I did think that shit was cool at the time. And now I see I was wrong, super wrong. And now I see I've done damage to people, not just to my reputation, but to actual people. Actual people are hurt. Actual people aren't working right now because of me. How many people don't have grocery money right now because of Harvey Weinstein? You know what I mean?
Ooh, ain't no
How
telling.
many people didn't have the money to cover their rent or their house note or their child care bill because they worked for that fool, and now they don't have maybe a job to go to because his presence was so, far reaching.
Some people just got blackballed.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't just fuck it up for yourself. You're fucking it up for a lot of people, and not even just your victim. You have tons of victims that you didn't even do anything to, but because you are ultimately responsible for the well-being or the livelihood of other people, you've ruined that. And not one of these men has said, yes, this is what I did. Yes, I was out of pocket. Let me tell you why I was out of pocket. And let me tell you what I'm going to do that's different now so that I don't ever make anybody feel this shit again. That's the dude I'm waiting on. Where is he? Whatever. Gross ass bastard. Anyway, so Sergeant LaDavid is Johnson. Okay. I'm just gonna make this real brief because I'm pretty sure, everything we're talking about is weeks old at this point, so unfortunately they found additional remains of Sergeant Johnson and Major. I think that was it earlier this week or last week?
I think it was last
week. And I just...
But additional remains.
Right. Which it pretty much explains why they would not let his widow see him.
Right.
Which I'm sure was the best, and I'm not fully believing the government and their account of everything, but I do understand why they would not let her open that casket. And I think that was the best for her, especially being pregnant. No, she need just that. But Donald Trump, fuck him as usual, and fuck him for the way he disrespected Maisha Johnson fuck Donald Trump Jr. for the way he disrespected the Congresswoman. What is it, Frederica? What's her last name? I don't know.
Keep wanting to call her Frederica Whitfield, but Frederica
that
something.
Is not. That is not it. But he made that raggedy ass comment about the way the Congresswoman dresses, that she dresses like a stripper, so it's hard to take her seriously. So fuck him for being disrespectful. Just, you know what? Fuck these white ass dudes. Fuck them. Fuck them. And the way they so openly and blatantly, you know, disrespect Blackness in general and Black women in particular. You minimize what happened to this woman's husband, to the father of her children, to the father of the baby she hadn't even had yet. You disrespected the Black woman who dared to stand up for her and stand with her and give a true account of how you flubbed a fucking phone call. It's so easy to have a damn index card with the man's name on it and for you to say, we are sorry for your loss. We thank your husband for his service. Goodbye. That's all you had to say, and you couldn't even, you're too much of a piece of trash to even just say those words to that woman, to have one of your sorry dumbass assistants write down that man's name so you could get it right. You didn't have to talk to that woman for more than a minute at most. And you couldn't even, and then you argued with her publicly, all in the media. You argued with this woman who is grieving and super pregnant. And oh my God,
First of all, he didn't even have to call her. Remember, he called her out of some kind of
trying to prove a point.
Bullshit.
Trying to prove a point. Yeah. And after he lied and said, these other presidents don't call, when of course they did.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the other person we're leaving out is Kelly, who made that whole speech.
Oh my God.
Talking about empty barrels making the most noise. Yep. And then fabricating a story about some dedication ceremony of a building where the same Congresswoman supposedly was and bragged about how she raised money, and no such thing happened.
Not a thing like that happened.
All.
And then Huckabee Sanders got up there and did that dumbass press conference, you know, talking about how the Congresswoman is disrespectful and she's out of line, and how dare she or this widow question Kelly. Oh my gosh.
Bucket tall is what I have to say.
I hate all those people. I hate them. And that's what it's like to be a Black woman. That's just like, that just scrapes the surface of what it's like to be a Black woman and live in this country. That's like your regular daily, every day you gotta, defend your right to be respected as a damn human being every damn day. You shouldn't even have to be like that. You should just be able to wake up and think about butterflies and shit like white women get to do. Anyway, I want to be like Snow White when I wake up and sing with the birds and shit. I want to do that.
Butterfly on the tip
You know what I'm saying?
Finger.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I don't want to wake up and be like, who finna fuck with me today? Who I gotta cuss out? Who do I have to verbally slap? You know, I don't want to do that. I'd rather not. Right. I want to sing with the birds. I do. So the NFL protest, we talked about that long before our hiatus. But while we were away, the little CEO of Papa John's was saying that the sales were lackluster on his cardboard pizza.
I like when it's cardboard.
The comforter on my bed probably tastes better than a Papa John's pizza. And he said that people didn't want to buy his little funky pizza because the NFL protested if these people weren't behaving like this, more people would want to eat his sad ass pizza. And I just want to say, shut up. That's it. I mean, I don't have much else to say about that.
Because Papa John's is the worst. It's terrible. It's terrible. When I had kids, every now and then, not every now and then, my ex-husband used to, hey kids, want Papa John's? Yay! Those Negroes would eat it.
Ew.
I would not. It is the only good thing about Papa John's is that butter garlic shit. It tastes kind of good, but then you realize that you're basically just drinking grease or eating grease, and you gotta, let it go. But whoever, I don't understand who likes it. I don't understand who buys it. What I feel like is that people who were buying it one day were like, "Oh, this is some bullshit."
Mm-hmm.
Let me call super expensive but delicious Round Table or something.
Anything. I mean,
or went to like some legitimate, authentic mom and pop pizzeria in their neighborhood, because that is terrible.
They might be better off with some boboli and tomato sauce out the can.
Some tomato sauce and sprinkle some cheese and shits on it, and go on and go about your business.
Fooling with Papa John, talking about this to protest. People are protesting your pizza because it's nasty.
It is disgusting. It is.
So also while we were away, Rand Paul caught hands, and I just wanted to bring that up because that shit is funny.
No, you know what's funny is your note, which I have been giggling about for and waiting for you to get to. The note says, and it's funny to me because I hear you when I'm reading it. Rand Paul caught hella hands because he did. Not just hands, he caught hella hands and was all bruised up and looking fucked up and pitiful.
It was funny
and terrible. He looked like, this is one of my favorite references ever in the world, and I don't know who will even know it because it's super dated at this point. He looked like Beetle Bailey after the Sarge beat his ass, and he's crumpled.
And he would just have like X's for eyes. Yeah,
and like one arm popping up out of the crumpled wreck that is his body. That's what he looked like. He had unfolded himself.
Well,
and then got in front of the camera with the whole beat ass.
Or he looked like Brian when Stewie beat his ass because he did not pay him his money. But he had money to get that fake mustache, but he didn't have money to pay Brian back. To pay Stewie back. Yeah.
Or he looked like Brian after Brian gets in at one of his epic tussles with the chicken.
Oh. Does Brian fight the chicken too? I thought only Peter fought the chicken.
Oh, Brian I meant Peter. No. I meant Peter.
Okay. I thought
not Brian.
The chicken
Peter.
Is serving everybody.
No, the chicken don't have them hands for everybody, just for Peter.
And I don't know how you get your ass beat by a chicken when a chicken don't even have hands to throw.
That chicken is not here for it.
Have been
all across town, on cars, boats, trains, planes.
Yes. So
all of it.
Rand Paul caught all the hands. And you know it's bad when you get your ass beat at your own house.
There's no dignity in it. No dignity at all.
You're just trying to get your little key out to get into the house. And the next thing you know, you done caught all the hands. I feel like the man brought hands from other places so that he could use them to beat Rand Paul's ass. And that shit was funny. And the pictures were hilarious. So
I'm black on the inside by how giddy I am about that. I'm corroded on the inside because I am literally giddy at the memory of how pitiful he looked. It's terrible.
It was funny. Yeah.
Anyway,
you have to call in. What do you do when you get? What's the reason when you call work and say I won't be in today? I got my ass beat. What do you say?
You say I was assaulted, Malika. I was assaulted by intruders at my home. I require medical attention.
You say it like Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places. Those awful Negroes.
I was poor and no one liked me. And it was all because it was terrible, awful Negro. I was beat up because no one liked me.
Colin Kaepernick was named GQ Citizen of the Year, as he should have been. Well earned. So shout out to him. And
we love it.
That's about all I'm going to say about that. Although I've already talked enough about him, what he's about. I'm with it. So shout out to him. And the spread was epic. It was a gorgeous, wonderful spread in GQ.
Listen,
him and all the babies.
The cover alone gave me all of my life with him and that big ass afro. But I just have to say, you know, when he was playing and the 49ers were doing what they were doing, I wasn't paying Colin Kaepernick any attention. I didn't think he was attractive, whatever. A couple of seasons down the road, I think I saw maybe it was the body.
That body issue was beautiful.
And I saw that body and I was like, well, sir, hello. But now there are very few people that get to this point. What he's doing and what he's about it is so dope and so meaningful that for me it eclipses my ability to cleanly objectify him.
Yeah.
Like I'll still look at him and be like, you look good in the mud. But then it's the shutdown. Shishunk.
Yeah.
I can't really I can't talk about Colin Kaepernick the way I can talk about Dwayne Johnson.
Sure.
He has achieved this level because of what he's doing and how much I respect him, which is weird because then that makes it sound like I need to not respect the MF to be attracted to them. And that's not what I'm saying. It's just it all supersedes his amazing body.
I agree.
And
the work he's doing is more important than how he's looking.
Yep. I can't even think about him too hard. A little bit, but not too hard on them levels anymore.
Don't think I won't still pull up them body images.
Oh, no doubt. That body is freaking gorgeous.
Yeah. So shout out to Tiffany Haddish. She's out here doing her thing. And she's hilarious and a masterful storyteller to me. And always keeps me in stitches when she has a good story to tell. But while we were away, she hosted SNL, which I don't watch. But she was the first Black woman comedian to host in its 50 billion year history. How long has that shit been on air? Like 45 years, 42 years, whatever it's been. 40 something years. It's insanity that she would be the first at this point. And I have feelings about celebrating certain types of firsts, and I'll talk about that, I'm sure, in some other episode later down the line. But nonetheless, shout out to Tiffany Haddish. She's doing her thing in general, not just the SNL thing. But it's always nice to see people sort of come up based on the work they've been putting in. So good for her. Shout out to her. She's cute. She's funny. And she's making it happen. Okay, when Harry met Meghan, let me just say, I don't give a damn about Prince Harry being engaged to Meghan Markle. I do not. Where was that article that said something about Black women feeling hopeful now that they know Prince Harry is engaged to this biracial woman, and it made me really, really irritable to see that headline. And I kept wondering, who are these two Black women? They asked, because I can't imagine there being more than two who watched that and thought, now I feel hopeful. Hopeful for what? I don't know. Hopeful that some soon to be balding in the top prince and might propose to them. Hopeful that they'll one day have a white guy of their own. Hopeful that they'll be a princess. I don't know what it is they're hoping for or feeling hopeful about, but none of it made me feel anything. I just looked at it and thought, oh, some people are getting married. How nice for them. And then I moved on. I don't care. I did laugh a little bit about what it'll be like when her mama come up there. But other than that, I don't care. This is not a sign of a post-racial anything. People are still just as raggedy and racist as they've ever been. And I don't know. It's nothing. It's a man and a woman getting married who are hopefully genuinely in love and marrying each other. That's all it is to me. That's nice, and that's it. Although, like I said, her mama being up there at that palace is funny in my head.
I will say what I think I said on a post somewhere in these online highways, byways. I don't care about any of it.
Yeah.
I don't care about who doesn't care. I don't care about who does or who thinks that we shouldn't. I don't care what anybody feels or thinks or says. I understand that she does not identify as Black or really even biracial or something. I don't know. Okay. So, and her dating history that I've seen has been white.
Yeah.
What I want to see is her wedding dress because I'm a big fan of wedding.
I like a good wedding dress. Yeah.
I do. I love a good wedding dress. I don't, and that's it. It's not like we're going to be able to see the reception and how that shit went down. And it's going to be all probably staid and stuffy anyway. But I am looking forward to that dress. That is all. The end.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of the rest of it. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm wholly.
That's all I got.
Wholly unmoved. I don't understand the big deal. And we're American. Why do we care so hard? Anyway, shout out to Keisha Bottoms, who is the newly elected mayor of Atlanta. She barely eked out that win. Did she even win by 1,000 votes? I mean, it was tight.
It was super tight.
Like it was like 51% and like 48%. I mean, it was close. 49 and 51. I mean, it was something like that. But anyway, shout out to her. Young sister about to take over Atlanta. And
like it.
Even with the woman she beat out who was bitter. I demand a recount. And then they recounted it and they were like, bitch, you still lost. So anyway, shout out to Keisha Bottom.
She retired to her chaise lounge with her hand, with the back of her hand on her forehead.
And a glass of lemonade.
Like Betty Draper and that.
Yeah. Or maybe she's having a mint julep.
That's right, because it is Atlanta.
Yeah. So, Grammy noms for Best Album. There's no white men nominated this year for Best Album, and I didn't feel any way about it because I don't even watch the Grammys. But I thought it was interesting when it was mentioned, but I don't care much because I don't watch. And so, shout out to whoever's nominated. I don't even know that because I don't watch that shit.
I don't know either. I used to know all that shit.
I haven't watched the Grammys in years.
But I know in the last years that I did watch, who was winning wasn't lining up to me.
Yeah.
And that's when I further knew that it was some bullshit. And so it kind of falling out and not knowing, like I'll know the black side.
Right.
But I won't know, and I'll know like the super famous whites. I know who they are, but I won't know their music. And so me being somewhat out of touch has paralleled kind of with my feelings about how the Grammy whoever is doing the Grammys is out of touch. I just don't fuck with it anymore.
Yeah.
Every now and then somebody really dope wins one. After that, I'm like, oh yay! But the whole shit leading up to it,
yeah.
Or watch the actual broadcast. Man, get out of here.
No, I don't watch that shit. All I know, Lord and Jay-Z are nominated, and those are the only people I can stop on. Okay. I don't even know why I remember Lord, whose album I have not heard.
Me neither.
Anyway, shout out to Cardi B, and that's just a very random thing. She amuses me. I don't know. She tickles my entire soul. She's not like me, and maybe that's what I like about her. She's honest. I think she's funny, and I think it's hilarious that she is playing the game the way she's playing it and winning. And I enjoy that. Bodak Yellow, of course, it's not some brilliant masterpiece. It's just fun. Like it comes on the radio and it might make you feel like you just grew an extra hair or two in your chest. Makes you feel like you hard or some shit. And I know that when it comes on, I rap with conviction, even though none of what she's talking about applies to me.
Does that ever have to be the case?
Hell no. Sometimes the less it applies to you, the more fun it is. And so I just want y'all to know that our producer, Bren, just said me too. He just told us that. And somehow
I need that in my life.
A man in his car going crazy when Bodak Yellow comes on. It's
talking about, I don't dance now.
I make money moves.
Money moves.
So anyway, just shout out to Cardi B for her own sort of brand of black girl magic that I have been enjoying. Good for her. Get that money. And also shout out to the ignorant ass group of black people who did a gospel version of Bodak Yellow, because that shit is funny.
I think I heard that.
I've watched it so many times, and there will be a link to it because it is hilarious. So now this clown in office says that we're going to be recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. So he just wants everybody to die. I think that's just in a nutshell. Just stays trying to keep it kicked up, and I'm not gonna, speak extensively about the shit like I'm super well versed. I know what it means, and I know why it's a problem, but I'm not gonna sit up here like I'm what's that dude who lied on the evening news and said he was somewhere he wasn't?
Brian Williams.
Yeah, I ain't gonna Brian Williams this shit like I know it like that.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was in Jerusalem when they made it the capital.
I'm not
in the White House when they made the decision.
I'm not gonna Brian Williams my way through this shit, but it was a foul, stupid ass decision, and of course the way he said it so brashly and ignorantly, which is his, I don't know, that's his way of operating. It just made it worse. He's so stupid. Anyway, and destructive. Just saying those words caused people lost their lives just the next day. Stupid. Anyway, all right. I don't know if you had anything to say about that.
No, it's too. No, not anymore. I too know the bare bones. I know it's bad.
Yeah.
I have, I think, a decent grasp of why it's bad.
Yes.
But the whole Israel-Palestine thing, I have only recently come into the rudimentary understanding that I do have. There's so much more for me to learn and know that that's all I got. That was bad and that was stupid. You are trying to kill everybody, and give it again. You continue on your campaign of zero fucks given.
It's not a one.
Thanks.
Stupid.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Supreme Court case dealing with Colorado, was it? So the man didn't want to bake the cake for the gay people because Jesus. And so then the gay people filed a complaint with whatever organization in their state. And what he'd done was illegal. So then, the state was like, hey, man, you can't be telling people I'm not going to bake you a cake because you're gay. And so then he was just like, well, I ain't going to bake nobody a cake then. So he still has the bakery, but he stopped making cakes for everybody and lost about 40% of his business based on his own words. And then he pursued it, took it to the Supreme Court. They started hearing arguments about it like 2 weeks ago. And so now they've made this into a big, huge religious freedom thing. And I don't know. Listen, I don't want anybody to bake me a cake you don't like, because you're not going to poison me in my entire wedding party. But I also don't want to go in a place just thinking I'm patronizing a local business and then have somebody read me the riot act about what they think of the way I live my life. I don't want that either. I don't want that to be a-okay for me to walk into a place just minding my business, wanting to spend my dollars and be shit on like that. So I'm thinking, if it's decided that he's protected and, whatever else, I'm wondering what kind of slippery slope that will lead to. Because Now it'll be, well, I don't let black people eat in my restaurant because Jesus, or because Buddha, or because
Cushites.
yeah, I was just gonna say,
Not
or
allow it.
they're lepers,
Whatever.
they're unclean, whatever the hell,
Right.
people are gonna say. Or what I worship closet doors, and the closet doors don't want me to let any Asian people eat in my restaurant. So I'm wondering, what does that turn into? So anyway, I'm watching that case. I don't even know exactly how I think it should go, but all of it just seems religious freedom has nothing to do with baking that cake. I mean, and I want to know. He said, "I don't want to bake the cake for you because you're gay and Jesus." Okay, but how many Nazi cakes has he baked? How many cakes has he baked for unwed mothers for their baby showers? How many cakes has he baked for people who were living in sin, quote unquote, and came in to grab a cake? How many cakes has he baked for gay folks and didn't even know he was baking a cake for gay folks, but he baked that shit? So now you want to ask these questions like you're so, focused on your religious beliefs. And if that's the case, why didn't you have a long ass questionnaire for everybody who came in there to get a cake to make sure they didn't fit into any of your 6 million categories before you started mixing up some dough? I mean, batter, whatever. Whatever. Ugh.
The parallel that I heard, which really kind of clarified it to me, was, well, what if, this is my voice that I use, what if it was Muslim baker and I went and I said, I want this cake with the image of Muhammad on it. Well, they have to do it, right?
Oh my
and I'm
gosh.
like, listen, dummies. That is not the same thing. What you're asking is for them to violate a central tenet of their religion. All anybody asked this motherfucker to do was make a cake.
That's it.
They didn't ask him to put gay imagery on the cake.
No.
They did not ask him to come serve the cake to the gay. They didn't ask him to be gay.
Just bake
they asked him to do what he does. Bake the fucking cake. He couldn't, and I was thinking along the lines of what you were saying. He doesn't always know what his product is being, what kind of event his product is being used for. How many cakes have you made for fucking swingers? How many cakes have you made for people who are cohabitating? How many cakes have you made for people who are doing any and all divorced people who are divorced, but are getting married again?
How many cakes have you baked for atheists, sir?
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure you don't ask everybody their religious beliefs when you bake a cake. You just saw a gay couple and said you didn't want to bake a cake, and suddenly you turned super devout or whatever. Fuck out of here.
I think it's bullshit, and I do have concerns because I do think religious freedom is important.
It is.
And that there is a way where sometimes ensuring somebody's freedom somehow feels like taking away freedoms from somebody else, from one group to the other group. But in this particular case, this dude, I feel like, was wrong. I don't know how to sort that out so that there aren't those far-reaching implications, and so that it isn't like case law that lawsuit, attorneys going forward in certain cases are, well, when such and such in the case of the Colorado baker and the gay cake, and then using it, in other cases in ways that would be detrimental. I would hate for any of that. I think he was wrong. I don't, but I would hate for there to be this ripple effect regarding religious freedom, and that in some way is not cool. But that dude is on some fuck.
He is all day. So we're running out of time. We made, and we've covered a bunch of stuff. Just right quick, net neutrality. Oh my gosh, the FCC. What manner of bullshit? Hopefully, you all will still be able to hear the show on a regular basis and be able to access the shit, and that it's not buried on the 452nd page in your search engine because we didn't have $1 million to pay somebody to get some kind of preferential treatment in the way we come up in a search. Oh my God. I hate everybody. I hate this.
Yeah.
This administration is such trash. They're trying their hardest to make sure the citizens of this country, the people who live here, not even, you ain't even got to be a citizen, that people who live here don't know shit about shit. And
they're
only
trying to suck all the joy out of life in all the ways.
They don't want you to know anything. They don't want you to be able to research anything. They don't want you to be able to provide any receipts for anything. And they want to make sure that the things you know are only the things they want to tell you that have been manipulated and written and presented in such a way that suits them. So there is only one narrative. That's the ultimate goal. Is for you to not be able to know shit. Not be damned if somebody gonna have me out here ignorant on some fuck shit. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, I think I just had a mini stroke. Right quick, Sarah Sanders baked April Ryan a pie. Did you see that shit, AM?
No, actually.
Okay, so I remember some months back, April Ryan had said something about Sarah Huckabee Sanders staging the pie display or some shit anyway. And then she was like, I really do bake. And so they had a potluck at the White House with press people and other staff for Thanksgiving, I think it was, or maybe it was Christmas. I don't know, whatever. Had a potluck. He baked, he said, some chocolate pecan pies, which I would never eat anything that came from Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And I do want you all to know that April took the pie in her hand and smiled and said, oh, thank you. And then said, but I'm not going to eat it. And inside, I died 1,052 deaths. And
absolutely missed it.
Shout out to April Ryan because she is a Black woman magic. And she wasn't going to eat that pie. She said, but my mother does help the homeless and does this, that, and the other. And I will donate this pie to her group that she works with. So April might be willing to let them people die, but she's not going to die eating that pie.
I love it and I love her.
And then she said, hopefully this will be the start of you being nice. Oh, April was, I won't even say April was in rare form. I think April was being April, but
I need to see it.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders was like, I am nice to you guys. Bitch, no, you're not. Anyway, fuck that tax bill that just passed. I'll get into that some other later date. And it is unfortunate that Cornell and Ta-Nehisi are funking, and I'm going to talk about that more today. Also, shout out to Issa Rae because she's making all the television shows. She just got a deal to develop like 2 new shows for HBO. So shout out to her, and one of them be about bisexual men and dating or something. That sounds interesting. So anyway, I think I pretty much killed the list. We went through all the shit. Just about. Shout out to you all for still listening, sticking with us through our 3rd postseason, our quasi season. I don't know. It's a season, damn it. It is. I just keep saying it, and that'll make it be so. So thank you so much for listening to Tackling Tomfoolery. And I am Malika Rogers.
And I am Beyonce.
Yeah, you are. Your love is on top.
That's right. I'm A.M. Lewis.
Hey, babe.
Bye, y'all.
All right, bye. Hey, fellow tacklers. We thank you so much for listening to our show. If you're interested in supporting us, we would be ever so grateful. You can donate to the Tackling Tomfoolery podcast at patreon.com/Tackling Tomfoolery. Tackling Tomfoolery is produced by Bren Inman for Evergreen Talent Collective. For more information, find us on the web at www.tacklingtomfoolery.com, on Facebook at Tackling Tomfoolery, and on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, and make sure you rate and review the show, as that helps people find us. If you'd like to contact the show, email us at tacklingtomfoolery@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 916-573-1065. Let us know what tomfoolery you're tackling. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.